Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Hobby Homestead. If you're new here, I'm Heather. So today we are going to work on our cutout cookies. We had made the batter yesterday and let it sit in the fridge all night. So if you want to, jump ahead and watch that video first and then come back and watch this video. So follow along as we get started on making beautiful cutout cookies, and then a part 3, we'll do the icing later on. Alrighty friends, so we got out our beautiful dough. It's stiffened up, it's not sticky like it was yesterday. That's the reason you want to put this in the fridge, because a lot of people make the mistake and they'll just go ahead and keep adding flour and keep adding flour, and then you have a really dense dough. And the key is just wrap it up, put it in the fridge for 8 hours, and you're good to go. Not sticky. But I'm going to cut this in half. I'm going to work with half of it at a time. I'm going to put some flour down on my mat here. And I'm going to probably roll these out to be like a 1/4 inch thick. And I don't have my little helpers because they did end up having school today. We only got 1 inch of snow last night, so all by myself. But that's okay. And I'm not doing any fancy shape on here. I'm just rolling it out to about a 1/4 inch thick, and then we're going to go ahead and cut them out. Alrighty, so I got my oven preheated to 375 degrees, and we will bake these for 8 minutes. You don't want to over bake them because then they'll get to be too crispy. And I'm just putting all my little cutouts on here. Don't mind my dogs. I think every time I start doing my videos that it's time to argue over who's getting what bone. And we have like 5,000 bones around the house. So these are what they're going to look like. A little snowflake here. So we're going to go ahead and get these on the pan and get them in the oven at 375 degrees for 8 minutes. Alright, so we got our first, whoa, let me not lose that there. We got our first set cut out and put on the sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and get these in the oven. I did put the other half of dough back in the fridge because I don't want it to soften up while I'm working with this half right here. So we're going to roll this dough back out and get some more cut out. Alright, so while we wait for that first batch to get done, I'm going to go ahead and ball this back up and get this rolled back out. So the key is not letting your dough get too warm. So if it starts to get too warm and you got a bunch of dough left, stick it back in the fridge until you're ready for it. And get out the other half and start working with it. So we're going to go ahead and get these ones put on the tray. Let me grab a tray. So as I'm getting these up off the mat, what I'm noticing is I'm going to put this little bit of dough back in the fridge because this dough's starting to get a little bit too warm and it's wanting to stick to my mat. And I'm trying to use as little flour as possible because I do not want a dense cookie. I want a soft cookie. So we're going to get these ones in the oven and get that dough put back in the fridge. And I'll get out the other dough. So as I wait for the first batch to get done, I'm going to go ahead and do some Bible verses this morning that have really been on my mind, that my husband has took me to this morning, that I'd like to get for you guys. Okay, so it's going to be Proverbs 31 verse 15. She gets up while it is still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. I never thought that us women waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, getting our coffee and getting breakfast ready for a young. I never thought about, that being in the book, that, hey, we are a Proverbs 31 woman. Another one is, she opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. And that is verse 20. I'm always told, Heather, you cannot save the world, because I'm always trying to help everybody, whether it be human, animal, whatnot. I'm always trying. Then it says, jump over to Proverbs 31:27. It says, she watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed. Her husband also and praises her. I never thought that paying the bills monthly and making sure that we have food in our house and our animals are fed, that would be me watching over the affairs of our household. And then jumping down to 31, honoring her for all her hands have done, and let her work bring her praise at the city gate. I never really thought about it that way. Everything that we do, we're doing for our family, we're doing for others. I never thought that means that we're a Proverbs 31 woman. And I never looked at it like that until my husband brought it to me this morning. So, ladies, read Proverbs 31 and wonder why you're waking up at the crack of dawn all the time. Because I was like, why can't I sleep? Why am I always getting up before the daylight? Why am I always having coffee on for everybody and breakfast done before daylight? It's in the book of Proverbs, right there. It speaks it all, right there. Let's check these cookies. Alrighty, friends. Well, I thank you for coming along in my kitchen today. If you have not seen part 1, go watch part 1. The recipe and stuff will be in the description or in the video of how to make the dough. Part 2 is doing the cutouts, and then part 3 will be doing the icing. But yeah, look, we've been getting lots of snow. So it's been crazy with all the snowstorms. We have another snowstorm coming in Saturday. We had one last night, but it didn't drop as much as they said it was. So yeah, so I'm going to finish up getting the rest of these cookies cut out. That way they're nice and cool. And then tomorrow we are going to work on getting them icing. So until next time, friends, bye.